my sophomore year, it was a lot better. Uh, Sophomore year, no, what am I talking about? No, it wasn't better. It was actually probably the worst year I had while I was at school. Sophomore year, second year, it's a sophomore's a wise fool, and that's exactly what I was. I didn't care anymore for work. I was tired of the school already. Like I said, freshman year, I didn't want to go to school. Sophomore year, it didn't really change my mind. I had a few friends. But that's pretty much it. But sophomore year had a lot of bads. My history teacher was one of the hardest teachers at the school. Um, and the thing is, I don't study for tests at all. And it's just, he made it that you had to memorize things. And didn't want to put in the effort to do that. So I do horribly. But he knew that I could do the work, and I just did horribly, and I just didn't want to do it. English was the same way. I don't like English at all. English is probably my least favorite subject, just because you have to like read books and stuff like that. I like books that I like to read. I don't like books that they assign me. I will read what I want to read. You can't tell me what I want to read. That was basically my mindset. And I didn't do any of the work. There was a few here and there because the books got better over the year, and there's a few that I read, but I wouldn't do the work unless I actually read it. There was a book that was actually probably like this thick. I didn't touch it. I probably read one word in that book, and I was just like, this is too long, too boring. I don't give a shit. And that was English. Math I've always been good in, so it was no problem. Chemistry was no problem. Spanish, no problem. History was the only problem that I had. And sophomore year was tough just in general, because of the fact that I was going through a lot of stuff that year, emotionally as well as mentally as well. I suffered a huge loss. You guys might not care, but I actually lost my dog that year. So I was kind of crushed by that fact. I know death comes, but it was very unexpected, and I felt that it was partially my fault for doing such, because there was a time where I could have brought my dog upstairs into my room so she could sleep, and I feel like if I did that, she'd still be alive today, So that's a burden I had to go through as well. Like my mental state was like really messed up, just because when you lose something close to you, it's traumatic, and I know it's a dog and you have to deal with it, but losing a dog is probably one of the hardest things that you have to do, even especially when you don't see it coming. And also, like, I was just in a bad place most of the year too. Like I don't know. Like I thought negatively. Had real troubles at home. The whole like situation at home wasn't good either. So my sophomore year was really terrible. But a few highlights that I got from this year. This year really solidified friendships for me. I met a few of my best friends this year. Just because you've known them for a year now, and then you get to know them more. So yeah, I met a few of my best friends this year, and this is probably the year that I started realizing that I was overweight. You guys can probably tell that I'm overweight, and you might not think it's an issue. It's actually kind of a big issue for me. I know that I'm overweight. I try to do as much as I can to like try to trim down, but it doesn't really help. It's just because I've never actually dedicated enough to do it, just because my schedule is always messed up. But this year, that sophomore year was the year that I took an initiative and I joined the fencing team at my school. And the fencing team, the typical thing was you had to run 5 miles every practice, pre-season to get in shape, and I felt really good when I did it. But as I'm going to tell you guys later on, it didn't stick. So, yeah. But being on the fencing team, I made new friends on the fencing team. It really showed me close friends too, because they saw the dedication that I had to the team, and they thought I was just going to be a slacker, because they knew me as the funny guy that didn't take things very seriously, and they thought that I wouldn't have like the commitment that I did. But I showed them. I showed that I had as much heart as anyone out there, and even though I was overweight, I put myself through torture just to get by. My sophomore year, shitty year. Um, if I could, I wish that, I feel like if I had a better mindset during that time, I could have done so much more.